TV. We are the radio.
You there?
Okay, I'm here. And you're there. And the horn's out there. I'm going to put you up on the screen. How you doing?
Okay.
Okay. What does that mean? Just okay? There's your face coming up.
It sounds a little...
We're all good now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, well then, how's it going? You're in Australia?
Yeah, that's right.
How the show's been going?
Pretty good. We've been trying out a bunch of new materials, so it's kind of like, different every night.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, the first night was cool. The first night I got here, we went to see Grinderman at some place in Melbourne, and we spent a bunch of days in Melbourne hanging out. And
you like that town? It gets a little bit crazy on the weekends, huh?
Yeah, it definitely does. And then
they get in all those fist fights.
We were there mostly during the week.
It's really interesting. They've got those checkpoints everywhere in Australia. They just flip a little signal, and it's everybody in the car. You're busted. They'll just test your tongue right there. They'll give it a scrape and go, "You guys are all on E. You're all going to jail right now." It's so weird.
Exactly.
Because we were playing all those festivals. We were playing all those festivals out in the bush out there in the Blue Mountains and stuff. I didn't have to worry. We always have designated. We always have a driver employee person that doesn't party. And also, I gave up drinking and all that, hooting and hollering.
This I know. And the last time I saw you, you were just drinking lots of Red Bull.
Yeah, I'm still. There's no wagon to fall off of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I do the same.
It's just Anton walking down that rutted old road, going, "I already been there."
Yes, sir. We've both been to that road. So, how's everything going over there?
Everything's okay. They've just got me on passes, and I'm doing my show, waiting to get out of this hospital thing.
Yeah, I think I read something about that, like from you maybe in passing, or is it they wanted to keep you longer, and now they're going to let you go sooner?
No, it's still the same thing. This has been a long time. What can I do?
It's been too long, personally, I think.
Real long and real expensive.
But at least you can leave and then do this, and it's...
Well, they didn't want me even doing this. They said this wasn't therapeutic, but I said, fuck you.
In a way, I think it's very therapeutic.
Well, in a way, they don't want me winding everybody up with the news and everything, let alone myself.
They just don't want the truth, then. They don't want you to be talking about...
Well, a lot of this stuff is like politically it's hot potato time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with all that, the stuff that's going on in the Middle East, even in Egypt the last couple of days, is, they blocked Twitter and all that stuff. That's because, anybody could just post that there was a riot going on, and everybody would repost and go down there and potentially get their head cracked in because a bunch of people showed up. So that you wouldn't even know who posted that thing. And I was just reading the book about this.
Exactly.
I just was reading a book about the Stasi. That's the DDR, East German secret police, and having the lead singer in these punk bands would be setting up the shows. It's the same kind of situation. It's like they were setting up all the punk shows. They had their finger in that pie because it was like almost a joke how wobbly their society became at a point to where they were terrified of what punk rockers are going to bring down this, this democratic workers' socialist paradise that they're worried about some guys drinking beer at somebody's apartment taking down the whole system.
Exactly. I mean, but they just kind of always want to shut stuff down that they don't. It isn't A, making the money, or B, they fear.
Well, this is real crazy though. See, because the thing that was worrisome about that, protests in Egypt, you got all these people in the street with all their different views, right? And then and they're all saying, take down the government, right? Or whatever. At the same time, Israel's going, you guys got to control that border right now because this is too tense. on a whole different thing. So it's the wrong time to be switching horses in the middle of a stream for their government. It doesn't matter what the street wants. See, what the real street wants everywhere is political stability. That doesn't mean that they don't want change, right?
Exactly.
That's what most people want, is that the bazaar is open on Saturday. They don't want to starve to death. They want their shop. They want a better future, right?
Exactly.
Because
that's what it seems like what the kids want now. They're kind of going, where's Egypt leading us? Like, there's nothing happening here. It's
well,
like,
we gotta lay off Egypt's back because, that's, once again, that big city, Cairo, has 20 million people. That's as big as any city on the planet. It's in the middle of a desert. It's on the border. Only so many Arab states have ever recognized Israel, let alone sign a peace treaty with them after several wars right in a row.
Absolutely.
So that's like a real precarious place to be in the Arab world. Also in Africa, if you look at the whole north of Africa, there's been these riots going all the way around. See what I'm saying?
I do.
In Tunisia and all these different places. So
Belarus, they're doing all that crazy shit.
Well, yeah, all that stuff sucks too, because what it meant was, we don't even know what it meant, but what it meant to some people that were trying to fly an airplane was, it meant they didn't get that flight in Moscow.
Mm-hmm.
So that really sucks, because I hate this kind of stuff.
The people that live there are claiming that the government is leading them in a backwards directions rather than, they're sharing the border with Europe, with the rest of Europe, and then their government's kind of trying to.
Well, those guys once again had the unfortunate. Those guys have the unfortunate and terrible responsibility of being at the crossroads of east, west, and north, south, and all that stuff. You see, especially in an oil, gas, pipeline, weirdo thing. See, their responsibility has to do with Central Europe and all that stuff, all those gas pipelines to Poland and everything. So my guess is that Poland isn't going to put up with any your war turns off my gas. My guess is Poland will be on their ass about that stuff. So it's not an issue for Gregg to worry about in Australia.
Yeah, but if we're all connected on some level,
well, we certainly are.
We all need to work. We all need to worry about each other on some level.
Well, you know what? Then I got to tell you, it's right back to arts programming for me for the minute, because they won't even let me out. See, this is the whole part that scares them, is when I start talking about politics and stuff too much.
Well, we don't have to talk about that, but
I think we just squared that. I just think we squared away really easily that we know what we're talking about. Because you didn't go, oh, Anton, you're a raving lunatic. You went, yeah. Well, then it relates to this other thing, and I'm like, yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's hard to just say one thing is about one thing and it's not connected.
Well, this is all connected back to what.
Picture.
This is what I was connecting back to, is like the same thing as we want everybody to be able to shop and all that stuff and go to concerts and be safe or take airplanes and all that stuff. I just want to be able to play music and art. So it's that precarious for me sometimes.
I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand what the issue is.
Well, everything is everything's really precarious. That's what I'm saying. Is like everything is like teetering. But besides that, I really want you to come over.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about it. Me and Cat Power are finished. We're finished in the middle of February. Like, we come back next week we go to Hawaii, and then
Hawaii,
San Francisco.
Are you playing Hawaii?
Yeah.
Are you playing there?
Yeah, strangely, I don't know how.
Wow, I know how that happened. You guys are fucking awesome, and somebody with some money just said, hey.
Absolutely, I guess.
That's absolutely what happened.
And then we were playing
unbelievable
in LA.
You know what? They've got 4-day school weeks in Hawaii. I'm jealous, you bastard. They don't have enough money for those kids to go to school 5 days a week, like we had to.
Right.
But they got enough money to have old Chan Marshall and Gregg Foreman come on over to Hawaii and learn the hula. Son of a bitches.
First we came here
Get tan.
Jam with the Stones. No, but then I play L.A. and San Francisco, and I got the Meek to open the shows, which are cool.
You know what? You're
cool.
a saint. I think some people get you wrong. How cool you are. That was really kind of you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like them as people.
Yeah, but something tells me you didn't.
You know them.
Yeah, something tells me you didn't do it just to get Amy and Allie's pants or something. You're just being cool.
Not at all.
Helping our mates out.
At all.
So nice of you.
Exactly.
I've got a Meek.
Well, I would do it. Yeah, you've got the sticker on the wall, right?
I got the sticker on the window. That's so the police know. I'm like, don't hurt me. I'm Meek.
I've got this. This is my support.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I wear it pretty much everywhere I go. I'm here to let people. I fly the flag, you know.
Yeah, Nani's got rubbers that have that on it.
Really?
No. Get your mind out of the gutter. We're not that bad. We're just kids.
Yeah.
We talk a lot of politics, so we're like little kids. You can see it in my face, even if I got a white beard.
Even, I've been DJing these shows too, and I'll play stuff, just to see what the reaction is.
Yeah.
And one night I played like the typical stuff. I played You Guys, I played Dead Skeletons, and then I played Black Flag, and somebody complained when I played Jesus and Mary Chain. They were like, what is this? This is horrible. And I was like, perfect. I got exactly what I wanted.
You're like, that's still taboo, huh?
Well, it's just, psycho can be so noisy to people that...
Well, it is, but you know what? If it's music that affects you that much, you're going to find out what it is. Because I remember, I told this story a bunch. The first time my friend brought that record over, he put it on in my sister's room for me to hear, and I walked out of the room, walked around the house over to my detached room. And by the time I got to my front door, I was right back in the bedroom going, put that shit on again.
Yeah.
So it took me about 80 paces to get to my room before I came back over to my sister's side of the house again. And I was like, put that on again, mate. I want to hear that shit. And then I was like hooked for life. Then I was like, we got to get tickets and everything. I was just hooked. I still love them.
It's me too. Part of the reason I want to DJ these shows is because it's fun, but also I like to see what people react. I like to see what people react to. Like, I had some people come up when I play like You Guys, and be like, "Oh, Brian Jonestown, I like this," or like. But then I would play like, You
can give it to me straight.
No, they like that, but then I play something like, Golden Dawn, and they'd be like, there'd be no register, it'd be like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, well, we don't like trendy so much, There's only so much of that shit you can take.
Yep, absolutely. And, all the regular stuff, Suicide and Chocolate Watch Band and the good stuff.
Yeah.
Silver Apples was a favorite. That really confused some people.
Yeah, that song, The Program, is great.
Now I think I played Oscillations, and people were just like scratching their head, like, why,
Those guys, man. Australia, cool your jets, my good man.
Exactly. We should also give a shout out to the Louvin brothers, because Charlie Louvin passed away. I love the Louvin brothers.
Yeah, that's too bad. This is the first I heard of it.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of the Satan is Real record.
So was my priest, right? Wow.
Whatever that is.
I guess that's... go ahead. That's a sign. Well, we're building the bunk beds, and we got all those beds in the studio.
Really?
Yeah, it's made to sleep like a whole crew, whatever. You know what I mean? Like a whole tour bus full of people.
And how far is that away from
My house?
From 8mm? Yeah.
Several walking blocks.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's on the same big street, kind of. We're one street over.
I mean, I was thinking about coming whenever you're able to have a guest. Would be like,
Yeah,
we were supposed to go to Oslo and like,
wow,
and Sweden and all that, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I'll have time probably in March.
That sounds good to me. Because
like
the only thing I really want you to bring, probably, when you're thinking about that stuff, maybe I'll try and buy one before then. I'll try and find a tape echo, not just my digital version of what you got, but
I'll bring it if you want.
Well, no, maybe you want to bring some stuff back.
That's true, but I can always ship stuff back.
That's true too, but I might be able to find something over here. Roland did brisk business with all that stuff. I could probably say it's imperative. They're talking about not letting me update my studio until to get it to the next level, to get it to they're saying April before they want to drop Superbank, for electronics. But that doesn't matter. We've got it all set up. I'm gonna there's more than one place to track, depending on what we're doing. See, I've got it set up so anybody can just play, and you just record while you're playing, just like you guys just recorded. My studio's set up like that too. Is
it a Pro Tools
yeah.
setup, or is it?
Yeah. Plus, I got a full-time engineer. Anytime. So just like you guys had that guy out at your studio there, out at the house, I've got one of those guys. Just anytime we're even playing, even if I don't want to play, if I just want to cook, he just shows up.
That's perfect.
Yeah, we never even talk about it. He gets paid the same either way. You know what I mean?
That's very cool.
And then he just gets. I also my friends, my guys said if I'm playing music with somebody over here, I'm like, well, my studio is not really my studio, and you don't work for me. It's more like we just work together, and you can use all this stuff too. So I make it cool, for people. I loan them gear and let them rehearse their side projects or whatever. I don't care. I just care about everything being tip top.
Wow, that's really cool. I mean, I've just been excited because I want to come over there already.
Yeah, that's what I know you love, is because we could even just go into museums and just chilling, and there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of cool stuff.
There's many. And also, I know that Levitz wants to come. I don't know if you want him to come, but he wants to come too.
Yeah, I feel really bad that, it'd be really cool to make up something for Jeff and have him actually make some scratch forever off it. Because he likes rock and roll so much, and there's one thing being a side guy, but there's another thing of I don't even know if he knows how things work, but there's one thing about, if you write the progression or the words, then you get paid forever, but I might be able to fudge it somehow, if we made up.
Yeah,
I think he'd feel really good about his life in a funny way, because that's so much.
Yeah,
that's so much of his dream was to,
Yeah, he's one of the people I like to hang out with, just because he seems pretty legitimate, person. He has no agenda. As far as I can, I don't see
well,
that.
He's got Jeff Levitt's agenda. He's like my older sister in a way. I don't want to talk too much about Jeff Levitt's, but one thing that I can say is that, he's like my older sister and the Queen of England. It's at a certain point they had to stop being kids and they had to be this family person. So there's a little bit of this thing in them. they're not even. Jeff Levitz is not at all like the Queen of England. Only in that, like I feel kind of sorry for these people. I was a middle child, but I kind of feel sorry for these people because they had to stop being kids at a certain point and be the adult. See what I'm saying?
I kind of do, yeah, of course.
Like for me, life was so horrific. I felt that I never got to be a kid at all. So my whole life's about being a kid. I never had to babysit my younger sister too much, just only out of duty. I wasn't forced to be like the free babysitter. But Jeff had to be the free Jeff had to be the free babysitter to Irwin. So
yeah.
some of that stuff.
So what's next for you? What is the story here? Like, like they obviously can't keep you down for too long.
Well,
unless they're gonna try and pull some crazy shit.
Well, I'm told just to like keep my head down personally and just count the days. I hate living life this way, but
yeah, but you're providing joy to people still.
Yeah, but where does hope? I always sometimes when I'm trying to think at night, sleep at night, I keep thinking, and I want Ustream to be able to check these things out, and I want to try and see. I want to be on the air during the U.S. hours and get some more people with shows, because I know I can trick people into wanting to do this. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I know that I talked to Sasha Vallely, and she said you were trying to help her get a show.
Yeah.
And she couldn't figure out the equipment, but I'd be certainly willing to help her.
Yeah, I gotta do more of these tutorials. Maybe I'll do one this afternoon. And go through all this stuff again.
What exactly do you need besides the
nothing?
Can you do it from like a laptop?
Yeah, you need a good Mac.
I mean, I have a MacBook.
Yeah, there you go. Me too. We can do it from our thing, see. But, I want to get these Scandinavians, because Ustream has all these producer packages and all these kind of weird things that you can just take the sting out of some of this arts programming. And I'm trying to get some of these Scandinavian people I know to get in the mix, and do some of their arts programming this way.
It sounds perfect. I mean, I think you're an influence on a lot of these people, and I mean, you must see the response that this gets. I mean,
we want it to be better, though. I mean, see, I don't know about these investors. If I looked at all these things like pets.com and all this stuff, a lot of people, they've got these investors invest in these .coms or these startup companies. So I don't understand exactly what Ustream's beef is, I just found it kind of disturbing that there was a Pentagon channel and there was no Pentagon channel being projected. I thought that was kind of disturbing because that maybe wasn't authorized or something, but I mean, that's the last thing you would think would go off the air, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never in my lifetime.
So, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither we'll get there.
Yeah, but I don't know what kind of provisions those people made for this whole process, though. See, so I was a little bit concerned with that. So when I'm lying in bed at night, trying to settle my mind, I was like, geez, I hope I get out of the hospital in time to influence some people and show them, because regardless of how this goes, I never knew that I necessarily wanted to be a presenter, but I want to show people how it could work in my studio with guest musicians, just walking in the door like, I know that the Black Angels are coming to town, and there's no reason that they should be afraid of me now that they weren't afraid of me projecting me on YouTube, playing with them before. So It would be so interesting to make some chili with those guys, some Texas chili, but have them just come in. Yeah. Have them come in and just play my gear with me. We're goofing around, filming that stuff, bouncing it right, left, and right. But it's all in the context of a show. So we're all kicking back at this table, eating our food. We played some music, and they don't have to lug any gear. They just already played their show or whatever. So it's kind of like a good old time. They're sitting on a couch talking to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like
it's upstairs,
you
downstairs. Just really, really
you don't even.
nuts.
The thing is with a stream that you're happy with. If you're happy with UStream, cool. But you're presenting an amazing show, and
Well,
you're like
it's completely
every day.
yeah, and it's also just complete new media, so it gives people ideas to do their own thing, which is what I'm more interested in.
And you're doing it for free, which says something.
Yeah, civic-minded.
Testament to you.
Well, Rome wasn't destroyed in a day. We just chipped away at it.
Exactly.
Chipped and chipped and chipped and chipped. Yeah, got another chip. But that kind of thing. Should we listen to a song?
I would love it.
Okay, you stay on the line. We'll come back to you. Here we go. Okay, you're watching Dead TV Live, and on the phone is Greg Foreman, and he is not on Skype. I mean, he is on Skype, but he's not on Demerol, and neither am I. That's what got me all messed up on Smack in the first place, was when they gave me a taste of that bass. A lot more scary than Al Qaeda, that shit. Now, I guess it depends. It's a form of
Al Qaeda.
It is the bass. It's very, very strong. But
yes, sir.
Okay, so you guys are down in Australia with Cat Power. How many shows did you guys book down there? I want to see how big your band is compared to my band in Australia.
Well, we booked. Let's see, 2, 4.
We already talked about this.
7 shows.
We did 10. So you guys are right up there. You guys play. You guys play all the. You guys play Perth.
We played 2 nights in Perth.
Wow. I bet you all my mates. I bet you all of our mates turned out for that.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think the crowds are slightly different. I think you probably have like a more of a
assholes,
a cooler crowd that I relate to.
No, we got all the old timers, man. See, we like the swell maps and all that shit. We got all the guys that actually played with those people and all those shows and everything. We got people that were adults when I was a teeny whopper that come to our shows even. So, you know how it is. God,
I do.
Okay. So,
And then
What
we
about
did that.
what about New Zealand?
We skipped that this time because usually when we have a record, you know how it is when you have a record out, you play everywhere, and when the record's been out for a long time and you're just playing, you know, you don't play everywhere, obviously. But I landed in
Auckland,
New Zealand for a layover.
Wellington or Auckland?
In Auckland.
Okay, there you go.
Auckland.
How long was your layover?
3 hours.
See, I want to take a drive around the North Islands. I want to take a drive around the Pacific Coast. The Pacific Highway or the Ring Highway.
Yes.
I think it'd be amazing to go to some of those old mining towns and stuff that are like 100 years old or whatever. 110 years old.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Well, right now we're in. Here's something I guess noteworthy. We're in Brisbane, where they had the major floods.
Sure, my heart goes out to everyone.
And that actually was a little. I think it was north in a place called Ipswich or Ipswich or something. That's where those people died, and now the city is the flooding's it's gone down.
Downriver.
Life is downriver, somewhat back to normal.
They were complaining forever, for years and years about that rain not coming.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, they were diverting the water, the agriculture. Like all these people started growing rice down there in the outback, and then all that stuff hit, and it was just like, whoa. Mary.
Here, I'll show you something. I'll show you something that's ironic. Here, hold on a minute. It's funny.
If it has to do with floods, I'm not sure how funny it is.
All right, hold on. Sorry.
Dead air.
All right, so I was in the